It's about to go down.
It's lovely pass, and there he turns cleverly. Can he find a finish? Oh, he can!
Right hand, good counter right. Bullen is hurt. Second right hand, that clipped him as well. Now he goes in for the kill.
Well, Ricciardo is inching into the lead, and Ricciardo will win the Italian Grand Prix.
Iguodala running the floor.
Still leading the way with Canada in there too with the Netherlands.
And Musa makes it 4 goals in 2 World Cup matches.
The Monaco Grand Prix. Ricciardo triumphant in Monza.
Through Bowden Barrett and an early touch and an excellent.
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
Hello, viewers out there, and welcome to today's episode of Sports Orbit. My name is Afa Acho, and Salifu Usman is here in the studio with me. Salifu, welcome once again to Sports Orbit.
Thank you.
As usual, we have a bumper package for you, and we'll start with the camp of the Flying Eagles, where we understand that with just a month to go for the WAFU qualifiers, the Flying Eagles are yet to have a coach. The competition, which is they are even yet to open training, as we understand it. Sub-regional qualifiers will kick off in May 9th in Niger Republic. Officials have disclosed in 2021, it will be recalled that the youth team failed to reach the under-20 AFCON after they lost out to Ghana. Same Ghana again. They were led to Benin Republic by coach Ladan Bosso on an interim basis. But right now, as it stands, the Flying Eagles of Nigeria do not have a coach or are yet to open training. Salifu, just like we spoke, I learned yesterday about this Amaju Pinnick-led NFF. This tells you the level at which the rot in the NFF, the level at which they're falling. That, I mean, a team as important as the Flying Eagles preparing for a major competition and they don't even know who to lead them to the competition. They are even yet to open training. I mean, what else can you use in describing this kind of NFF that we have?
Well, I have seen over time that the problem, the leading force we are witnessing in football is not be a surprise to anybody. It is the foundation among the clinic and its cohort that have laid. And just like rightly said, we are just people who are not care, who are not interested about what is in the interest of the generation of Nigeria. What the Amaju Clinic and his cohort and NFL are more concerned and more interested is about how to build their operational profile, not for football. For instance, how can you see a Flying Eagles? Flying Eagles is supposed to be the feeder team of the Super Eagles, and in these particular teams failed to qualify for the last edition of AFCON, of the African Youth Championship, we call Africa competition at under 20 level. And yet again, another one is coming to qualify for another one is coming. A nation, a federation, a ball who failed to qualify for the last edition should be prepared. Nobody needs to, you don't need anybody to tell you that, look, it's how to fail to present, and you have to study and work with your field and to prepare for the next edition. But even as that, yet a month to this particular championship, there's no team, there's no, as I was talking, there's no even team on the ground. And if there's no team on the ground, you don't have a coach, and how do they coach? 1 month ago, there's no instructor to even know any on technical or athletic capacity to manage the team. Yeah. And now, so except I don't know how they're going to tell us within a month to the competition, and there's no how when even though let us see, even though you were appointed as a winger. And as media who is known for youth football, who know how to identify young players, and give him a job as this within a month to go, where will he going to pick the player from?
I mean, I recall in past years, I can't even remember the last time where we had players in the national team coming
From the youth level.
from the youth level.
Yes.
In the past, you watch the Flying Eagles especially, and you can identify 1, 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5 players who you know that will make to the next level. Like watching the program the other day, General Mokachi said the same thing. He said the reason why Nigeria is not even going any further is because of, according to him, he said we are not using rejected players who have been rejected in abroad, who in countries who were born. All these players who are coming from abroad, if they were have the opportunity to play, they would have come to Nigeria.
Yes.
But because they were rejected, and then now they've come to fill up the national team. You don't remember the last time? Yes. But in the past, you see in the Flying Eagles, the bulk of the national team comes from the Flying Eagles. But now we are going all over the place looking for players who have been rejected by their countries or birth of origin, begging them to come and play for Nigeria. Who understand nothing about Nigeria.
About Nigeria, don't understand about Nigeria culture.
In the first
place. There's nothing. There's no any interconnect or interrelationship. There's no any relationship that bind them with Nigeria. They only come, play the game, and go. So they didn't have anything that attach them, that connect them directly to Nigeria. Their family is not here. Because they don't have any personal relationship, so they don't care. And only God knows the arrangement or the relationship or the arrangement among the Phoenix that those boys with them. And you start to see, God, most of them, for instance, the Arsenal young player, Saka. All effort to get him to play for Nigeria did not work. Why did it not work? Because the England find him worthy, and he know that he has his way in England. So now,
if he wasn't playing, if he wasn't regularly,
so the Lookman that we brought that was celebrated. But if Lookman has been welcomed by England, the Lions, I was playing in that. Will Lookman have come here? He would have come. The same thing goes to Transfer Econ. If Transfer Econ have opportunity in play for Russia, well, if the Transfer has gone, he has gone his way for Nigeria. But if he has had opportunity to play for Russia, he would have come here. So, and the list is endless. Okay, for instance, the last time, if you remember, when the last time you said that the the Fly Eagles, the Golden Eagles, have a successful campaign at the World Championship. The last time, the present crop of players who grow up from the age competition to the Super Eagles, they are just the like of Beto Sime and Kelechi Iheanacho and Wilfred Iheanacho, and then Taiwo, and then the like of Taiwo Awoniyi, the like of Kelechi Nwakali. And this Kelechi Taiwo and Iheanacho were the product of our 17th championship in United Arab Emirates in 2013. That was during the eras of Aminu Megeri, less champion. And it is the same ground group, the effort the program put on ground that also transmit to the success of the fly of the Golden Eagles in Chile 2015, led by Coach Emmanuel Amuneke. Then they come to the era of to this level. We have not had any success at the even at the African level.
Even qualifying
for the channel, it become a big problem. So how do you have a team to so but the only thing Phoenix has succeeded in doing is how to use Nigeria football to the detriment of football, to the detriment of Nigeria, continue to build the personal profile, and then see now we have where we are crying Flying Eagles, a major team like that, a major team as that, we have a championship next month. The talking of next month, kicking off May 9th. But the team has don't have a coach. There's already a program on ground for them.
Anyway, away from that now to the National Sports Festival, where Minister of Sports, Sunday Dare, actually inaugurated the main organizing committee for the 21st National Sports Festival slated for Delta State. Dare actually charged the MOC, which was the permanent secretary of the ministry, Ismail Abubakar, and secretary to the Delta State government, Chief Patrick Uka, as the chairman and vice chairman, respectively, to package the festival and make it attractive to sponsors. In essence, while inaugurating that committee, he was calling on private and corporate organizations to support sports development and all of that. But like we keep saying time and time again, the corporate people out there, it's not like they're not ready to put their money in sports. But don't forget that these people are business people. So supporting sports shouldn't be seen as it's not a charity organization. But a lot of times they put their money to support sports. But what comes out of it with the way our sport is being run? So to appealing to them is one thing, then for them to, if the call is another thing. And we hope Delta State, which when it comes to sports, we also know that they have always been up there, and we really expect that Delta State will at least put up a proper national sports festival.
Yeah, I quite agree with you. Delta State and being a serious champions of
Yeah.
that event, winning back to back for three consecutive times. So, and now they have opportunity to host it again. And let's hope that they are going to put up a very big festival. But my only worry is that oftentimes it has been a tradition that anytime the National Sports Commission, National Sports Festival is coming up, the main organizing committees comprised of the directors in the ministries, comprised everybody within the director of the ministry are always set up as the main organizing committee. But I don't know whether it is impossible. Why not, if you want to make the game attractive and actually want investors to come into the game, why can't deviate from the past, from the tradition? Instead of having the farm sex and having all the directors and that being the organizer in charge, why not bring private innovative
Exactly,
into
and
the
put them
games and
exactly.
bring private innovative private sectors who well know the nitty gritty on what it takes to develop and package it to ensure that it will be attractive. Just like that, bro, we are it's not all the time we have several criticize the private sector of the sport that they are now interested in betting sport. And I believe any business minded who is a businessman will always want to put his money where he will get the return for his money, for his or her money. And there's no how if sport provides such opportunity, there's no how they will not be willing to invest in sport. How for sport has become a business venture and everybody, including the private sector, want to make a hail and want to make a gain for sport. So if the sport is thriving and the environment is right, definitely even the legs, even the minor corporate organ body wants to strong to put their money to earn a return from it. So, but the only way this can happen is when you throw the game, allow the private ideas, private innovation to come into it. But when you consistently make it as a tradition that the farm sake, then when we're under the National Sport Commission, then it's the DG of the National Sport Commission that is always the chairman of the main organizing committee. And that tradition that tradition has remained consistently. Why not for the one try another way? And over the years, this tradition has not working perfectly, and that is why the festival depends solely on the finance of the federal government and the state government. Unlike under Olympic and other sport division that is private, completely private sponsors, right? Brilliant.
Away from that now to story from Austin Oklahoma, where he said that nobody actually forced players on him, and this is contrary to some reports we got after that qualifier. But in another, initially he had said that some players were forced on him, but
Not
on
easy.
Monday,
So one of his
football,
official came out to
well,
say that
to say that
if you know what Ecuador went
went
through that official player was Nazi.
yeah, but he has come out to
Like that.
debunk that it was not true. Like he said, nobody can force any player. We've been watching for someone like Lukman week in, week out, and he has been doing tremendously well in his club, not just Leicester City, Fulham, and when he went abroad. So he coming out to say that yes, players were not forced. Initially, we heard that the reason why he had to make changes in that second leg was because some persons felt that he should make sweeping changes. But now he has come out to say that that was not the case. So who do we believe now? Because someone from his camp said this was the issue, but he's coming out to say no, this is not the issue.
Well, there's no anybody to believe that believe about. Even me,
Well,
even when that statement first come out, I don't believe that statement.
Yeah.
As even let agree say the player was forced on him. As far as he accepted the player, he has to take it as his own idea. So if you are a coach and you know you are in charge, and even though if like for this and for police, use this player or make use of this, as far as we accepted to use that player, that means that recommendation fall into your plan. And if it doesn't fall into your plan, you do accept it. But the fact that you accepted it, and anything that happen after it, you have to take responsibility of it. So it is obvious. I agree that I agree with the Baba completely that nobody forced player on him. The player he selected and the changes he made were solely his decision. And why we lose were also so his decision.
Yeah.
He led us to what we are, and he threw the ticket away to Ghana.
All right, at this point, we'll go for a short break, and when we come back, Sport Orbit continues. Don't go nowhere.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
Welcome back from that short break. You're still on to Sports Orbit. On to our next story, where second division club Huesca have terminated the contract of Super Eagles midfielder Kelechi Nwankali, and this was contained in a statement released on their official website on Tuesday. The statement said Huesca Sports Society has terminated contractual relationship that the first team footballer Kelechi Nwankali maintained with the entity until now. The club wrote he was actually communicated to the player the decision to terminate the contract that he joined both in this campaign and expired in June. I recall that this issue started when Nwankali actually got the national team call-up and failed to return on time due to illness, and they've been having back and forth with his club, and this has led to the termination of his contract. And for someone like Nwankali, the kind of reputation he had, when they played that championship, I don't know where he lost it. At a point, spent plenty of years at Arsenal, but didn't quite make the cut. Shipped off to Spain, and now his contract has been terminated for a second division like Huesca. So I don't know where to go. Where next time for the young man? Is it that his agents are not doing a good job of getting him a club, or his performances have not been good enough to attract better clubs?
It may be all encompassing, because if you are a good player, for example, I can't see Liverpool telling money that we've done it
Exactly.
for a championship. Let the money spend the all the club and they've done it. They have the right to sanction him, but I can't say I'm making money contract because they know what money will brought to the table. But even as that, I don't think the Huesca have done the best what they need to do. But all I know, I wish Kelechi Nwankali well in the future, but it's not the end of his life. It's not the end of the show. So there's still a very brighter prospect ahead of you, and his future is very bright. So he's still his age is still on sign, very very active and very fit, so he can still redeem himself and get the proper himself. But more times the Spaniards side have not done the right thing what they need to do. This is still unfair for a player who went for a national call-up of his national team and he communicated the club rightly that yes, after the championship, and the only reason why the reason why he couldn't play the match against Tunisia was because he was having some flu, and communicated the same to the club, and he need to be treated well before the tournament. And remember, we're in the era of COVID. You need to be watch your movement, and if you suspect having any flu, you are not allowed to travel, and complete everything to the club. But yes, still the club still believe they have to start showing that for tournament. And that's why the Spanish player still come to his friend and also spoke behind him. But yet, the club still went ahead with that decision. But my only worry is that in all of these, this guy came to represent Nigeria. In all of this, I didn't hear anything from the Nigeria Football Federation in terms of him trying to protect him or to defend or to say anything. And these are some of the attitudes, some of the attitude and decision of the Nigeria Football. Nigerians are not happy about it. But they are those pinning those guys, and they never are always good at using you and dump you and want to make use of you. Whatever happened to them, they don't care about you.
I mean, really, not a really good situation for Nwankali, for a young man who has so much potential, so much promise moving forward. And just to add, I think even on the part of his agents, I think they need to actually do a better job of securing a fine club for him. Even for someone like Osimhen, after the qualifier, Osimhen was even yet to even return to Napoli.
Yes.
But just like you said, but because of the kind of player he is, Napoli, we didn't go about shouting that, hey, you must return, you return. They just, in fact, they actually even said, okay, take your time whenever you feel like coming back. I know not qualifying for the World Cup is weighing down on you. Just relax, take your time, and return when you're ready. But it's because of how important he is to the club. You said it all. And away from that now, where Russia has eventually withdrawn their appeal over the FIFA ban. Recall that Russia actually went to the Court of Arbitration for Sport to challenge that ban, but they have decided, well, whatever it was that made them withdraw that case. I'm sure they saw that it was going to be a lost cause. I mean, because
they have no case.
yeah, exactly, because every day one sanction or the other keeps piling up. So there was no way that this case was going to fly at
So
the Court of Arbitration.
at the moment, the Russians have been banned from competing in any sport.
Yeah.
In all sport, in any form of sport. Russians are not allowed to. So who are you going to challenge? Say you're going to challenge that decision. So they have no case. So let them go. Since they have discovered this as a world warrior, so let them continue with the fight and continue to kill everybody to kill in Ukraine. So who are you challenging?
Yeah. All right. Away from that on to some Champions League matches that actually went down yesterday. Of course, we saw two English sides emerging victorious in that one. It was Man City versus Atletico, where Man City actually had a slim 1-0 victory over Atletico right there at the Etihad. While, but for Liverpool, it was a 3-1 complete whitewashing of Benfica out there in Portugal. And as it stands, yeah, as it stands for Liverpool are already, I mean, one leg into the semi-final already.
One leg and some even new already inside the semi-final.
Yeah, but for Man City, you can't say the same because they still have to go away to play with Atletico, so they still have everything to play for. But I mean, looking at Liverpool completely outclassed Benfica. I mean, whichever way you want to look at it, Benfica is still not a pushover. These are one of the top teams when it comes to football league, even in European football. Exactly. You know, have very many great players have passed through Benfica. So I don't think you say it was an easy game for Liverpool, but I think Liverpool were better on the night, took nothing to chance, and completely came out 3-1 winners in that one.
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised with Liverpool result. Liverpool is a complete team, so it's a team that is seriously mind their business and know what they're looking for. And whatever they want to go for it, they go for it completely. And it was so clear yesterday that they needed a result, and they went for the straight lane and get the result. Even when the Benfica tried to put the 2-0,
made it 2-1.
Make it 2-1. So Benfica were hoping that they can be able to equalize, but at least the disclosure and his boys say no, we are not done yet. We have to add another one to be sure that we are perfectly on the stable position. So we went to the second round. So for me, the second leg in Anfield will just be a formality sake because the job has already been done in Lisbon. Coming to Man City, just like you said, Man City, yes, slim victory, good night for Man City fans. But it's still not yet over. They still have another 90 minutes to play for, and with another 90 minutes, it's also show that it's also a 50-50 chance for everything.
Well.
So the Atleticos are not just a minor team. They are at the moment they are very strong Spanish side. So and they are also very very desperate to make it. Because they also have one of the best coaches in the world.
Absolutely. Diego
Simone is not a small coach when it comes to football. He knows what he means, and when you want to get to it, he go for it and get the result. So Guardiola and his boy, Guardiola is quite aware that there's still a very huge job, still work to do if he must get to the semi-final of the ticket. But not that he congratulate him and his boy and the farmers Stefan for the slim victory last night. But when waiting for the second leg and how it's going to be at that moment.
Of course, today also it will be a repeat of last year's quarterfinal, also Chelsea versus Real Madrid, and in the other match will be Villarreal, who are making the quarterfinal for the first time in as far back as I can remember against the mighty Bayern Munich in this one. So looking at this game, Chelsea, Madrid. I know a lot of Chelsea fans seems upbeat. They say after all they beat Madrid last season, but I've said it's going to be a different game tonight. I mean, the Madrid of last season is quite different. It was Zidane in charge, but this time you have a far more experienced Carlo Ancelotti who is in charge. And if you watch how Madrid have played all season, this time it's been a completely different side from the Madrid of last season.
When you say a far more experience as a side,
No,
but,
clearly, completely.
but if I look at the Gitain and Asaluti
Mm.
and what individuals have achieved in football, yes, the Asaluti is a very experienced coach for a very age, but Gitain being a young coach has also achieved a very positive result.
No, Chief, but if you talk
Gitain,
of
in terms
achievements,
of champions,
but
Gitain is the only coach who have come to win the Champions League back to back 3 consecutive that were unbreakable. So,
there are two
I don't,
times, but
so no coach in this world
no, but
except in the next world.
I mean clearly, if you're going to put by achievements, Zidane is nowhere near Carlo Ancelotti.
When it
At all,
comes to
in number of trophies won, number of is nowhere near Carlo Ancelotti.
yes, both of them have won the Champions League, but the way they have won, but the way they won his own Champions League is everyone is edge of his own style.
Not that, I mean, he has won it 3 times. Ancelotti has also won it 3 times.
But at what? Not back to back.
No, not back to back, but don't forget that the 10th Champions League that Madrid searched for a long time, Ancelotti actually gave them that title of the 10th one with
Yes.
Zidane as his assistant.
Then, assistant, and then you didn't learn from that, then pick up from that, then give them
Yeah, sure, no, sure, but
let's come to
the match at hand.
The match at hand.
Yeah.
This game. Not even only Chelsea fans, even the Chelsea coach has also come out to say that the Madrid is not the same Madrid again that it happened every time. But within particularly that we think the 2006 and 2008 when they won the Champions League back to back, during the era of then Madrid is not they are not in that form again. But more than that, it's been Madrid being a 13 times champions, 13 champions winners of that trophy, and I experienced sign that they can always get back to it. But the Swedish very sound confidence that the blue will be out to prove the point that yes, they are the Champions League to win again. But I think if it's not scared, it's taking it, it's too overconfidence, he may be surprised what will happen after that at Stafford Bridge. Because Ancelotti, just like you say, Ancelotti is also former coach of the Chelsea. You understand this, you understand the terrain within the Chelsea, you understand how the nitty-gritty how it's operated at Chelsea. So it's not a stranger when it comes to Chelsea, and it's not a stranger to Chelsea style of football. So you understand it better and be an express coach who he is of his age and his experience. And at the same time, if you're looking at this season, what they have played, they may not have played fantastic. I think any coach who is going to face Madrid should be even be worried how Atleti was able to dismantle to dismantle all the mighty PSB with the like of Messi, Mbappe, the like of Mbappe, Neymar, all of them, and Di Maria. PSG has a complete players and all the name you want to hear in football, but yet Madrid with their strong and whatever when they were able to despite lost the first leg at the PSV, still went ahead and beat PSG 3-0 in the second in the third leg. So Chelsea's fans and their coach and their whoever is connected to should be mindful of that achievement and how they'll be able to dismantle the PSV, almighty PSV. If you're looking at if you have to look at the Chelsea players at the moment, I'm looking at the PSV player by one-on-one. I think PSG have far better players than Chelsea, but Chelsea is a complete team. But I'm afraid for what may likely happen to them this night.
In the other match, Villarreal, Bayern Munich, on paper, a lot of people would give that to Bayern, but this is the Champions League where anything can happen. But we call that Bayern when it comes. Bayern on their day, Bayern can be very ruthless. It doesn't care. They don't care who you are. You can be the bigger side, but on their day, Bayern have a tendency of scoring goals for fun with all their players in top form. So, but looking at this match, I mean, for Villarreal, we are yet to see what they are going to play. But on paper, most people will give it to Bayern.
Yeah, just like you say, a lot of bookmakers and the bettors, those who are betting in the betting business, will definitely want to put their money. Will put their money. I say 70% or 80% of them will put their money on Bayern. But this is game of football. The orange boys that the yellow green, the yellow boys will definitely will not let their guard down. Remember, for them to survive the battle, you may not compare the battle of today with Bayern of today, but for them to survive the battle, it means that they have a lot to prove, and Bayern should not be too overconfident. And so it is 50-50, and although on papers and based on the pedigrees and based on the style of play, Bayern have a name, but at least, but whatever it is, Chukwueze and his colleagues at the Villarreal will still have a game to play, and we want to prove the point. So offset is part of the game.
Yeah, sure. We'll keep an eye on those games as they turn out tonight. Chelsea versus Real Madrid and Villarreal, Bayern Munich. We'll keep an eye on that one tomorrow. We'll give you results and a review of all that happened. Not forgetting that also some NPFL matches will also be going down today. Then tomorrow we'll give you a complete review of all the major sporting events that are taking place today. That's much we can give you on this episode of Sports Orbit. Salifu, thank you for being here once again.
Thank you.
All right, until we come your way tomorrow with another bigger and fresher package of Sports Orbit, I remain yours sincerely, Alpha Chuanis. Goodbye from here.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.